Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today at the summit. I'm a practicing advocate in the Supreme Court of India. I'm chairing the International Commission on Cybersecurity Law, and I've been working on artificial intelligence law by heading the Artificial Intelligence Law Hub. I have a small presentation. I would like to share that so that we can have a more meaningful overview of what's the position. To be or not to be scammed in India is not a choice question. It's often to be taken for granted that you are potentially going to be scammed. And that's the reason why people are beginning to wake up to this new ground realities of scams. During COVID-19, we've seen massive growth in scams. We've also seen that on an average, scam hit consumers in India have lost about 15,334 rupees, which is on an average about $350 per transaction is what they have actually lost. And most Indians are falling prey to online fraud and all kinds of online scams that we are beginning to start seeing. 1 in every 3 PCs in India are at a very high risk of cyber attacks. And we recently saw about more than 20 million Indian students' data that was selling with just 299 rupees or less than $3. Now, clearly, today's scamsters have begun to start focusing on ransomware as a good mechanism for targeting victims. And the year 2021 is a ransomware year because every 11 seconds, one company anywhere in the world is becoming a victim of a ransomware attack. On top of it, when you look at increasing cyber crimes, the figures are varying. Some figures say that cyber attacks in India grew by 300% due to work from home, while there are other figures who say that in India, we've seen a 29% increase only in 6 months as far as cyber attacks on organizations are concerned. Indians are increasingly now being made more victims of cybercrime, of financial frauds, of scams, and the genuine, innocent, trusting Indian shopper is one typical target of these scamsters. Well, the world lost more than $6 trillion thanks to cybercrime and cybersecurity breaches in 2020. A big chunk of that was coming from India. And now, by the end of 2021, we should be losing more than $8 trillion US dollars. Video conferencing marketing is booming. And because the market is booming, it also becomes a very fertile target for targeting scams to victims in the Indian context, because people are still new to the nuances of video conferencing and video coverages in India per se. I'm very clear that the coming of COVID-19 has actually resulted in the beginning of the golden age of cybercrime. This is the age that's going to be now with us for the next many decades because of the nature of the crimes, the volumes, the manifestations, and avatars are all telling us that now cybercrime is going to be our lifelong companion. In the Indian context, 3 kinds of cybercrimes and forms of scams have emerged paramount during COVID-19. These include phishing, identity theft, and online financial frauds. Well, there are reports that say that India hasn't done much on cybersecurity, primarily because India has a huge potential, a huge market, and therefore the responsibility becomes even huge for saving consumers from potential scams. Eastern India is a small local region known as Jamtara. It's bigger than a village. The entire Jamtara region created history because they became a region where everybody in this village decided to go ahead and adopt cybercrime as a way of life. So we have now seen that the coming of COVID-19 has seen the mushrooming of Jamtaras in different parts of the world because Indians have been losing jobs, and they've realized that the best way to retain jobs is to generate more money is through scams. No wonder in this data economy, data is become the number one oil which is being targeted by scamsters. On top of it, in India, we are seeing a new revolution. I call it the Great Indian Vomiting Revolution. This is the revolution where Indians are vomiting data about their personal, professional, social lives onto the internet without understanding the legal and policy ramifications, thereby exposing them to undesirable consequences. The work from home has been now a new normal thanks to COVID-19, but that allows scamsters to be far more innovative and target those Indians who are still working from home, who are using devices that are not necessarily updated in terms of their cybersecurity, and therefore scamming these work from home employees becomes a far more easier phenomenon as we go forward. No wonder cybersecurity becomes a matter of crucial importance in today's scenario. This is so because cybersecurity will have to be a part of your day-to-day lives. You can't just say that, look, we have done enough and therefore we are free from scams. The more cybersecurity focused we are, the lesser the chances that we become a victim of scam. But internationally, there's a vacuum on cybersecurity. There's no international cybersecurity law. Different countries have come up with national laws on cybersecurity. However, India doesn't have a dedicated law on cybersecurity. One unique feature that I'm beginning to see in India pertains to scamsters using artificial intelligence for perpetuating scams, and similarly now for targeting all kinds of innocent users. On top of it, law enforcement agencies in India have also now begun to start increasingly relying upon and using artificial intelligence as a means for fighting the menace of and regulating online scams. Therefore, we begin to start realizing that it's a different ball game altogether. On top of it, we have now seen a new ecosystem where fake news is all around us. And because Indians are very trusting people, this fake news has a direct impact upon impacting their mindsets and therefore enabling them to become easy victims of rumors, fake news, and online scams. More and more Indians are now today going on to the darknet because they have begun to start realizing that darknet is a utopian dream for all scamsters and cyber criminals. So invariably, we are seeing this massive migration happening, and the intrinsic inability of law enforcement agencies to go ahead and crack these online darknet scams has further complicated the scenario. Complicating this entire trend in India is the absence of a dedicated law on data protection. India is in the process of coming up with a new law known as the Personal Data Protection Bill, but it's still in the process of legislative discussions. Now, while this bill, as and when it becomes law, should potentially give more relief to affected persons, because then if you become victim of scam, then using this particular legislation, you could go after scamsters and even seek damages by way of compensation. During COVID-19, I examined the impact of COVID-19 on cyberspace. And in my book, New Cyber World Order Post-COVID-19, I've argued that by the time nations are victorious against the current and subsequent wave of COVID-19 infections, the world will enter into a new cyber age where a new cyber world order awaits us. States are going to become very powerful. And when you look at the laws that are passed during COVID-19, this will tell you an exact reflection of this particular trend. But while they're becoming powerful, the political will to fight scams is still not happening. Cyber crimes will be a new normal, and cybersecurity breaches will be a daily phenomenon. In this context, I find that India has not done much. It does not have a dedicated law on cybercrime. It also doesn't have a dedicated law on cybersecurity. It only has one law, a mother legislation, being the Indian Information Technology Act 2000, which governs all activities in the digital ecosystem. The good news is that some cybercrimes and activities are covered as offenses under the IT Act, but please understand this is not a law on scamming or regulating scams. So consequently, detection, investigation, and prosecution of online scams in India has become extremely problematic. We've had some cases I was the counsel for India's first cybercrime conviction in the year 2003, again in an online scam matter. Since then, we've had various convictions, but then we've of late begun to start seeing a famine of convictions. India has been changing its stand on intermediary liability. Now, by virtue of the new rules that have come up in 2021, intermediaries are now increasingly being made more responsible for scam-related activities that are happening on their platforms and what all due diligence they're required to be doing. It needs to be understood that...
my apologies. 1 more minute. My apologies for interrupting.
Sure. I think I would just want to say that cyber crimes are constantly increasing in India. Scams are increasing. The government is doing a good job because it's come up with a portal on cybercrime reporting. It also has a national reporting number. Some steps have been taken. The RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, now allows you to get monies back if you lose as a result of scams, provided it's not as per your particular negligence. But I think going forward, we'll require far more input from all stakeholders, and capacity building will have to be done. We at Cyber Law University, of which I'm the founder, have been running various courses to enhance capacities, including on cyber law, cybercrime law, cyber security, artificial intelligence law, and a variety of other aspects which are aimed at making people more sensitized about the different nuances and aspects of trying to protect. So when these courses are getting done by 26,000 students, 172 countries, clearly the need for massive capacity building. Later in the month, we are having the International Conference on Cyber Law, Cybercrime, and Cyber Security. We'll also be doing about this particular issue. I finally conclude by saying that this is a constantly growing phenomenon. More victims are coming and are lined up to be exploited. Legal frameworks in India need to be substantially made more efficient. Need for enhancing the capacities of law enforcement agencies and digital empowerment of all users will have to be the ultimate mantra as we go forward in this direction. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Pavan, for your presentation. And please feel free to share your event on the 24th of November in the chat so that people can register. And if you want, you can also share your contact details with others so that they can contact you directly if they like. Thank you very much for your presentation.